So today's question reads, I almost don't know where to start. I was married for 32 years. My wife cheated on me twice in our early years of marriage. I know she felt serious remorse both those times. The last time, when she divorced me and moved in with the guy she cheated on me with, was so much different. There not only was no remorse, she loved every bit of pain she was causing, literally threw it in my face. First thing, I don't know how someone can go from such a loving, God-fearing woman to that. Second, I'm almost embarrassed to still want her back after a year apart and 7 months of divorce. I have to be honest and say I don't know what I would do if she came begging. After being treated like that for 6 months in my own house and slowly finding out the extent of what she did, how can I still crave her? So there's a lot of that so many of us can relate to, where we've become aware of who this person is, and yet we still want them, and we don't understand why we're still wanting them. And I can't even imagine what that's like after 32 years with somebody. 32 years is a long time. And I think that is a huge piece of why you're struggling so much right now. Because you had 32 years with one person. She was a certain way. And then you had 6 months and then the time after divorce. So we'll say a total of a year and a half seeing her as something else. 32 years versus a year and a half. Yeah, it's no wonder you're struggling to try to come to terms with who she is now. Now, I don't have any answers as to how she was able to do this, why she changed from who she was then to who she is now. It sounds like a very extreme change, and I can't explain that. There may be some underlying medical or psychological issues going on. There may be some sort of trauma that has been recently triggered in her. Or this could have been there all along and was just well hidden. Who knows? But what I do know is this, is that image that you have of her is no longer who she is. And I know how hard that is. I had a lot of that cognitive dissonance myself with who I thought my ex was, this man that I adored and had up on a pedestal, with the things that he had done. And I could not reconcile those two people into one. And I know for a long time, I still wanted that man that I thought he was. And it took a long time to learn how to fall out of love with that person and to recognize that that person was gone. Even though he was still technically alive, that person was no longer. And so a relationship with him as he wasn't possible. And it sounds like you're in a similar place where you're missing the person that she was and you're wanting her back. I don't think we talk enough about the grieving process in divorce. And it's a strange grief, isn't it? Because if she had died, there wouldn't even be the possibility of her showing up at your doorstep begging you to take her back. But because she is still alive, because she is still physically present, that is an option that's on the table. And so it's this weird grief where we have this loss, but we also have this weird hope. This hope that maybe somehow things can be okay again. And so we get stuck easily in this bargaining place where we think that maybe this was just some weird anomaly and they're going to come back to their senses and return to us and everything's going to be as it was. And it sounds like you might have some shame and embarrassment around still wanting her. And that's completely normal, both from our internal voices and then also from those around us. We have this thought of, why would I want somebody who has treated me so badly? But that's because it's not a switch. It's not as though her treating you poorly towards the end was the entirety of your relationship with her. There was so much more other than that. And so attachment isn't just seeing that poor behavior, it's seeing all of it. And when you look at it like that, wanting to be with her is nothing to be ashamed about. Now, that being said, it's also so important for you to be brutally honest with yourself about who she is now and what she has done. If you find yourself indulging in these fantasies of hope and rose colored glasses, take some time to think about the reality. Take some time to think about all of the things that she has done that show you who she is now and how she feels now. Because even though part of you yearns to be with her, I think there's another part of you that understands that that would not be good for you. So maybe think of her like an ice cream cone if you're lactose intolerant. It can be something that you want, something that maybe you wish you could have, but something that you also know would only cause you harm.